Well everyone, it is that time again. It's been 3 months since the last Heritage Signature Auction, 3 months since the last market update video. If you guys don't know, Heritage Signature Auction just took place this last weekend, November 4th and 5th, and the results are in. At the highest end of the auction, there was a Super Mario Bros. 9.6a that ended at $720,000, which is absolutely staggering, especially considering the current environment for graded games and the economy at whole. A very special item, but wow, $720,000 is pretty wild. And the other best-selling item on the day was another Super Mario Bros. This one, the Arcade Classic Series, 9.6a, highest graded copy of any revision of this game, closing at $264,000. Again, a massive sale. And at the very tippy top elite side of the market, that's really all there is to report on from this auction. 2 Mario Bros. Games did absolutely incredible, and then the rest of the auction, whether we're talking items in the $50,000 range, in the $10,000, even $5,000 and below, we're seeing massive volatility, and most of them comping lower than they were in January, in April, and even going lower than they were just in August. And some of the comps we're seeing just from the August signature to today are pretty staggering. We're talking 20 to 50% drops in the span of 3 months. Twitch streamer Mizkif, who is big into graded games, was also watching this auction and seeing just how the prices of his games are doing. And you can see his heartbreak real time as he watches a 9.6 A++ Super Mario RPG sell for $10,000 less than he paid for a VGA 85 Plus only a month ago.
I just bought that last month! How is it worth $10,000 less?
So like I was just explaining, if he did actually buy that 1 to 2 months ago, we're looking at like a 40% drop in the span of 30 to 60 days. That is insane to consider and not a good sign if you're someone who joined into this market purely for speculation investment. And as I have said now in videos going back 6 to 8 months, things can get worse before they get better, and certain things in this market, certain games, may never recover to the prices that we saw from the span of 2020-2021. Some of these prices today are now reverting all the way back to what we saw in late 2020, which is kind of crazy. This market is coming full circle. The thing is, if you're in this type of market, the same way that when we were going on the parabolic rise up, big sales led to big sales. Everyone was happy. Everyone wanted to jump in. Everyone was scared. Everyone was speculating. There was FOMO. Bigger sales led to bigger sales just due to psychology. People felt good about jumping into the market because it literally felt like you could not lose. You just buy a game now, and no matter what, 6 to 12 months, you'll be able to sell it for more money anyway. So you get to keep some stuff for your collection, sell it off, everyone wins. The biggest issue with that is that everyone wins is an extreme fallacy. Collecting, buying, and selling, these are all zero-sum games. If someone else is winning, then someone else is losing. If someone is buying, then someone is selling. And if we're going through a speculation bubble loop and one person profits off another, off of another, you always need that additional new buyer to enter in. You need the greater fool, so to say. As soon as that new money, those new buyers stop coming into the market, and that started happening sometime around July 2021, October 2021, prices start to slide as there's no longer another person to sell this stuff to. There are no new buyers to pick up the new supply. With sealed video games at these prices, at this scale, this is still a new market. This is an emerging market. We're still going to see a lot of new supply, hidden supply hit the market. It's not going to be in absolute waves, but if the hobby is also shrinking at the same time that new supply is continually hitting, well, you can see for yourself what the results are. Now I can sit here and say that in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, everything is going to be better. You don't have to worry, guys. Just keep on buying on the way down. But the fact of the matter is, 1, it may never get back to the prices we saw. And 2, like I said, it can get a lot worse before it gets better. And the thing that I want to drive home that some of you might just think is massive copium, but this is not isolated to sealed video games. This is not isolated to graded video games. This is not a graded video game problem. This is a current problem affecting literally all asset classes. This is a problem affecting the entire macro economy that we are living in right now. If for whatever reason you're someone who doesn't open the news, you own no assets, no stocks, no crypto, nothing, you own nothing and you don't watch the news, the macro economy at large is doing terrible. Interest rates are rising, money is continually tightening, and now there is a gas shortage on the horizon. If you just do a random Google search of the word economy right now, it's nothing but fear and uncertainty. And this trickles into every single market that exists. If we rewind to 2020, 2021, when shutdowns were starting, stimulus checks were going out, money was free, interest rates were record lows, you could have owned literally anything and made a lot of money on it. We're talking video games, stocks, crypto, NFT, sports cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards. It literally didn't matter what you owned. The price of basically every single collectible went up, and of basically every single stock or anything else you could have been holding in any kind of portfolio. And now in 2022, all of those things I just mentioned are bleeding money. So as we look at graded video games falling 20, 40, 60, 80% off of their all-time highs, you can also point to stocks, crypto, NFTs, sports, Yu-Gi-Oh, things that are completely unrelated to graded video games that are also crashing at the exact same time. You can still point to the narrative with graded video games that they were pumped, they never should have been this expensive, of course they're coming down, but at the exact same time, everything is coming down, whether it's related to graded video games or not. The only way that you could have really won throughout the period of 2020, 2021 is if you bought it 2020, sold in 2021, and then didn't reinvest. The biggest issue is that most people who buy, sell, make a profit, you reinvest those profits. You snowball everything. So even if you were doing that, you were keeping good strategies, good discipline, you were snowballing, diversifying, creating a good stock portfolio. Right now, even the best people just doing the most disciplined, basic stuff possible are going to be down around 30, 40, 50%. That is if we are comparing to all-time highs during the everything bubble. If you haven't heard the term everything bubble, I do encourage you to Google that. You can get a broader perspective of everything that took place in the economy during 2020, 2021. All of this is to say that if you are in graded video games, if you find yourself feeling like shit because you're experiencing losses in graded video games, which I am not immune to as well. I am experiencing losses in graded video games, in stocks, in crypto. Everything I own is down. If you find yourself sitting there and you really feel bad about why the hell did I buy graded video games? What was I thinking? Why did I do this? That really needs to be taken as a lesson about what it means to jump into a speculative market and what it means to get caught holding bags. If you're not familiar with the term bag holding, it means that you bought something that was overpriced, everyone else left, and you are stuck now holding the bags full of stuff that is no longer worth what it was when you paid for it. Now, whether or not you want to sell those bags or you actually enjoy having graded video games in your collection, well, that's up to you to answer. And of course, the biggest issue when you're collecting, investing, speculating in video games or other collectibles, we have emotional attachment to them. It is a lot harder for us to just sell it, take a loss, and move on than it is if we're buying random shares of a company that we don't care about anyway. Right now, I think the prices, the market, our perceptions of everything just need a big reset. As the economy falls and a recession is looming, I think we're already in a recession by technical terms, it's time to just reset the expectation of how many people are in this market, how many people are speculating, what prices can these games sell for in this current environment. A lot of these prices we're seeing are still, relatively speaking, very strong, but they aren't strong if you use comps to analyze. And of course we have to use comps, right? That's the only way we can make sense of things in these markets. We need to see what they sold for to try and give us an idea of what they might sell for again. But as it stands, that exact same price memory is what now causes all of us to think, oh man, these need to be worth this, these could be worth this in the future. Speculation and reselling is never going to leave the market entirely, but clearly right now in graded games, I'd say we have 80 to 90% organic purchasing, people who actually want to be here, people who want to own these games, versus 10 to 20% of speculation and reselling of people who don't want to be holding on to these games for any length of time and just want to make money off of them. Back during the boom phase, I would say it was 80 to 90% speculation reselling versus 10 to 20% of people who actually wanted to buy these things purely just to own them. As for where I see this market going, I honestly don't see a trend break happening until the macro economy improves. In the next 3 to 6 months, I would not be surprised at all if I'm making another video talking that the price comps are falling compared to what we saw in November, compared to what we saw in August. Until the actual fear index on the macro economy improves, until people feel very confident spending money again, until the news cycle swaps to the economy is strong, we're past everything, I really don't see a trend break happening. But at that same time, when the trend break does happen, it will be sudden, much like how the bubble pop was sudden as well. The best piece of advice I can give you, even though it's a generic answer, is to keep watching for things in this market. Watch for the special games that you think are going to buck trends. Watch for the popular games that you think are going to be good long-time holds. And these prices right now might be fantastic opportunities for the future if that is your goal. Remember my golden rule though. Always be selling. The ABCs of collecting. The market is down right now, but I know you still have shit in your collection that you can sell at a profit or sell at a good price or recycle that money into something you would rather own even if prices are down. If you are selling at a lower price, that means you are are also going to be buying at a lower price. So if you're cycling around your collection, if you're auditing your collection, you can still do that in a low market the exact same way you can do it in a high market. Last thing I want to say here, if you go back to October 2021, people didn't want to sell because prices weren't as high as July 2021. Then we got January 2022. Well, those people don't want to sell anymore because the prices aren't as high as October. April, same thing. August, same thing. Now we're in November, right? Imagine you were someone all the way back in January or April and you didn't want to sell anything because prices are going to get better. Well, now we're in November. Those people might have lost 50% plus deciding to hold. As we march into a very uncertain 2023, it is fully possible that we will find ourselves November 2023 looking back 1 year at these signature auction results and being like, wow, those prices were really high compared to what we are paying today. Of course, the opposite is also true. By November 2023, we might already be beginning to see comps rise on stuff. We might be beginning to see stability in the market. Before we see any kind of exponential rise, again, ever, we will see a period of stability where nothing really happens. It will be uninteresting. And at the times when the market is down, at the times when the market is not interesting, that is when you accumulate the stuff, the stocks, the games, the items, the crypto, that you then sell when the market is interesting. Thank you to every single Patreon who helps support the channel as well as the YouTube members. I can't do this without you guys. Hit the like button and I'll see you guys in the next one.